Hi, Phil Aston here from Now Spinning Magazine with another episode of Music Biz Chat with me, Phil Aston. And we are at week 7. We're halfway through what's known as quarter 1 in the UK. And so this is a little tiny snapshot into how vinyl and CD sales are doing. Vinyl growth is in double digits already, and we're only at week 7. Which is pretty incredible, really. We've seen albums by The Last Dinner Party, which I talked about last week, James Arthur, Green Day, D Block, Ched 7, Lewis Capaldi. All of their number one positions have been powered by physical sales. Without those physical sales of vinyl and CD, they would not have had a number one position. So while streaming now accounts for the vast majority of the market, which is about 85%, physical music continues to dominate the top of the album charts. So out of 44 albums that debuted at number 1 in 2023, 86% of them and more than half of their chart-eligible sales were made up of CD and vinyl, which I think is fantastic. It shows how much physical music is still valued, not just by us, the fans and consumers, but also the labels and bands as well, realising that, we're all in this together. Now, vinyl sales are up 14.5% already this year. I think it's quite remarkable. I mean, even the record companies must be thinking, how sustainable is this? And I know many of you are also saying the prices are off the scale and, it is unsustainable and the vinyl bubble will soon burst. But will it? Because the fact the sales are going up, and we're talking about more sales than last year already. And I think that The Last Dinner Party was a good example. 16,000 albums. That was one of the few albums where the vinyl outstripped the CD, if you like. Rumours by Fleetwood Mac, Dark Side of the Moon, is still selling tons of vinyl and staying in the charts. And it's mainly that format that's doing that. Now, the prices are up, but equally we are seeing a CD increase as well. I spoke last week about that HMEV owner, Doug Putman, had said that CD sales were up, and he was definitely investing in the format, making sure there's enough space in all of the HMV shops. And because of this, record companies and bands are also investing in the CD format as well. So vinyl is up 14.5% already in week 7. So how's the CD doing? As far as the industry is concerned, it's showing a turnaround. Now, Music Week, which is where I'm getting these stats from, I've never been that enthusiastic about the CD format. And so if they can find anything that isn't quite as flowery or glowy, they'll kind of shine a light on that. And they're saying that their analysis shows that the CD sales are basically flat so far this year. In fact, they're down 0.76% year on year. But considering where we have been, I think that's fine. I mean, it's only week 7 anyway. And I'm going to talk about other aspects of the CD sales in any second now. So physical sales are at 5% so far this year, which I think is fantastic, and that doesn't include compilations. So, and they're actually up 6.4% year on year to week 7. So I think that's absolutely fab. So the other thing I want to mention is Record Store Day, because this is where a lot of people are convinced there's some kind of conspiracy that it's all about vinyl. And why aren't there any CDs for Record Store Day? It's just not on. It's kind of they're just targeting vinyl. I personally take a step back from this because I like both formats. I'm a multi-format man. Many of the people who are in Now Spinning Magazine's Facebook community buy both, depending on what they see and the price, what it is. Where the CD really works and the vinyl equivalent cannot compete is the box set. These little career-defining box sets and collections and or expanded single album stuff, the CD box set rules. It cannot be pushed off its top of its mountain for that. Vinyl, however, does have one marketing edge that the CD doesn't. Vinyl can be put in a gatefold sleeve, a single sleeve, a fold-out sleeve. It can be made red, green, purple, splatter vinyl, transparent vinyl. It can be a double album. It can have inserts and posters and booklets, and there are so many different things, and 3D covers. There are so many ways of doing it, and doing short runs of 200, 300 and 1,000. Whereas a CD in a jewel case, even if it's something that hasn't been available for a while, is not going to gain the same kind of momentum, I don't think. I personally have been looking for an album by Montrose called Mean on CD. I can find it on vinyl. On CD I can't, but if it came out in a little jewel case for Record Store Day, limited to so many copies, would that excite me enough to go into a queue? I don't know. But I can see the pull of vinyl, the short runs, different colours, as I said, different marketing aspects of it. But what you're not going to see, and they don't sell that well because they take up far too much room and they weigh a ton, is literally a 12-album vinyl box set. There are one or two, but they're hundreds of pounds and they don't sell as well as you might think. Whereas CD box sets, you go on eBay, these great career-spanning studio album collections, the entire album collection of a band, they are collectible and they sell well, and there are lots of specialist labels that do that. So Cooking Vinyl is a great example. They do great vinyl releases, and when they do these box sets, they're nearly always on CD. And I think a lot of labels are thinking along the same lines. So it isn't that the CD format is being pushed out the way by Record Store Day. It's just the way market forces work. It's a day, there's special releases, there's special editions, and vinyl has got so many different tricks up its sleeve to sell those. For CD, single CDs in a little digipack, or it just doesn't have the same punch. And of course, CD sell at gigs, via band websites, by Bandcamp. They're selling all the time, and I think people have got access to this all the time, whereas Record Store Day is vinyl in specialist independent shops. HMV aren't allowed to get involved because they're not independent, and so they're places where people go to find. So I think it's a different thing, but overall, take a step back, everyone. Physical music is doing really well, and it is the best way to experience music, and it is the best way to get closer to the artist and their creative vision for what it is they're trying to create, and be closer to the whole thing. And it's great to see people of all ages really, really enjoying it when I walk around a record shop, or when I talk to people online, or people reach out to me. So thank you for watching, thank you for being here. Remember, music is the healer and the doctor. Take care, please subscribe, keep spinning those discs, and I shall see you all very, very soon.